Okay, I'm back. Uh, Praise the American spirit. First set, the gift of unemployment. All right. Think, share. Okay? So I'm thinking and I'm sharing. And I've been there in a lot of the places that people are going to wander, you know. Wash dishes, clean toilets, worked in mental hospitals, stuff. All right. Been an addict, you know. In recovery. Lots of people. Anyway, some big picture stuff. Now, I said Western civilization is dying. You know. Well, what happens when a little kid, and a lot of you have maybe had this happen to you, and you've seen it happen to you, you know, he's first learning to run, and what happens? He falls down a lot because he's got so much joy in his running, he just goes whoop, smash. And it happens for a while, and then eventually he figures out that he can't always run too fast. Later he still does it again in different ways, but that's the impulse. We always kind of run too fast. Well, what happens when your whole civilization runs too fast, you know? I mean, that's basically what we got. We got a situation, you know, where part of the dynamic of it is that the whole civilization ran too fast. You know, and people complain about consumer debt and all the rest of that, and they can go on, and if they're a conservative, they come at it from their ideology, and if they're a liberal, they come at it from their ideology. But we're not talking about ideologies. We're talking about real. What's real? What's real is that when you run too fast as a community, the whole community falls down. So what we have is we have Western civilization winding up more and more, more stuff, more money, more stuff, more sex, more money, more cars, faster cars, more things, da-da. Fall down, go boom. I'm serious. That's the rule. Okay? It's just natural. It's the way things are organized. Only this time it's happening on a humongous scale because it was a whole civilization that got out of whack. And all this wind was created, you know, we sucked all these people along with us. India and China may think they're going to position themselves for the 21st century as economic powers, and that's the moves they're making, and you can't blame them because they have huge populations and a lot of talented, smart people, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact is the whole world got swept up in the wind of run too fast, fall down, go boom. And what we're in the part where the brakes are applied, but it doesn't all fall down at once, and we hope it doesn't get too rapid where people start throwing bombs and bad diseases at each other, but that's all possible, you know. There's a lot of crazy people out there, and we do have weapons of mass destruction, you know. And we have people crazy enough to give diseases to their own people, you know. There's just a lot of people in leadership positions who think they know what the right thing to do is. Now, there's a lie you tell yourself. I know better than everybody else. Of course, I know better than everybody else, and maybe you do, but just us. Okay? So what happens? Well, things get tough. Life gets tough. You know? We're going to be hard work put to find water if things get really tough in America, you know. A whole lot of our watersheds are ruined. A number of our watersheds have been pumped dry. They've taken all the water out of the aquifer. And there's still all this amazing stupidity, you know, and it doesn't have to be stupidity. It isn't that there's no good ideas about doing stuff. You can find all kinds of good ideas, you know. Google Amory Lovins and the Rocky Mountain Institute, or Google the Bioneers and find out about those people. They have all these communities where they have good ideas, you know, and some of these good ideas are really incredible. But there's no political will to apply them because the political will belongs to the corporations. And the Supreme Court, they're a bunch of idiots. I'm sorry. It's one of the reasons I got out of the law business. I clerked for, half a year on the Montana Supreme Court, and it turned me sour about the law. I was a big idealist. Oh, great, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. And then I actually went there and saw what they did. Before that, I'd worked for a couple shysters while I was in law school. And these are very human beings, these judges and stuff. They're not paragons of virtue, and they're not paragons of philosophy. And some of them think they are. It's a lot of power to give a Supreme Court judge. And if he's an ideologue in any way, like the Republicans or the conservatives on the court, they're going to make bad decisions, and it's going to screw us all up. And the law itself is shamelessly outdated. And the fact that the conservatives don't want to change anything just makes it worse. You can't make, a tired old horse pull the same plow. And that's where the law is. The horse is tired. Needs to be retired. And put some young ones on there. It's not that we need liberals on the court. We need young minds. We need flexible minds. That's that rant. Okay. Where was I going? I'm going to pause for a minute because I want a thread I want to catch, and I'm going to have to think about it. Okay, I figured out where I want to end this. Got maybe a minute and a half. Think and share, and I think also people need to understand something. I'm going to read it off another screen over here. I wrote it a long time ago in an essay called Song of the Grandfathers, Unconventional Wisdom, Real Wealth, and the Redemption of the Social and Political Existence, Civilization. Okay. There is no true self-government. That's what America's about, self-government, in a political sense, if there is not an equal proportion of self-governing by the individual of himself in a moral sense. That is, we can't have self-government if the individuals that make up the self-government aren't self-governing. That is, if they don't discipline themselves in some way or another. And one of the ways that our civilization has speeded up and fallen down and go boom is because there's an excess. Too much I and not enough we. And that's generally the people that are elected to Congress today. They talk political talk, but the fact is they're all about themselves, and some of them are horribly about themselves. They're about having power and using it to get satisfied from having power and using it. The worst addiction that's possible is the addiction to power. And that's what lives in the swampland, the moral swampland of Washington, D.C. We're on our own, folks. Think and share.